He announced today he's not just maintaining but increasing his tariffs on China, which is one of our largest trading partners. And among the Americans who will almost immediately feel the pain are farmers, because China buys a lot of their.
We, as soybean farmers in the United States, have a 35 to 40 year relationship with China. The tariffs definitely affected us.
The Trump administration has moved to cancel or freeze trillions in federal funding. That includes billions in funding from the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Something massive just broke in America's heartland. A full-blown agricultural crisis. And almost nobody's talking about it. In just 60 days, U.S. sorghum exports to China, once the pride of Kansas and Texas, didn't just fall, they collapsed. A 94% wipeout. That's not a typo. That's not a dip. That's a nosedive off a cliff. The lifeline for thousands of farmers? Gone. The silos? Still full, overflowing with grain no one wants to buy. And the fallout? It's spreading. Trump's new tariffs, aimed at protecting American industry, may be pushing U.S. agriculture into its most dangerous moment in decades. Every trade move is closing another gate, locking farmers out of markets they spent generations building. So, what exactly happened? On March 4th, China slapped a new 15% tariff on $21 billion of American farm goods. Then on April 4th, they doubled down, jacking the rate up to 34% on key U.S. crops and suspending major import licenses overnight. That's like slamming the brakes on a freight train. Contracts canceled, ships stuck at port, farmers left with millions of bushels and nowhere to sell. Sorghum, a $1.5 billion crop that once fed livestock across Asia, is now being dumped into animal feed, or worse, just stored and left to rot. Grain elevators are offering prices so low, farmers bleed cash just by selling. And it's not just sorghum. Soybeans, America's biggest export crop, are in free fall. China just cut U.S. soybean orders again. They pulled the plug on 3 major agribusiness contracts, slapped on new tariffs, and turned instead to Brazil, where export deals are exploding. In just 1 quarter, Brazil shipped over 17 million tons of soybeans to China. The U.S. pushed aside. Soybean prices dropped 30%. That's the biggest price collapse since before the pandemic. Many Midwest farmers are now underwater, earning less per bushel than it costs to grow them. So what are they doing? Some are switching to corn or wheat. Others, leaving land fallow, empty, abandoned. The USDA warns soybean acreage may drop 4% next season, a massive blow to food security, trade, and rural income. Meanwhile, wheat exports just went negative. Yes, negative. In late May, cancellations outpaced new sales for the first time in over 30 years. South Korea canceled 65,000 tons of U.S. wheat. The Philippines scrapped another 12,000. And just days later, the Philippines inked a brand new wheat deal, not with the U.S., but with Australia. Why? Because U.S. policy is now seen as unstable. Buyers are willing to pay more for grain from other countries just to avoid the chaos of dealing with Washington. Even though U.S. wheat is cheaper, $8 to $12 per ton less, insurance fees, shipping premiums, and fear of tariffs are making it more expensive overall. Inside America, the wheat is piling up. Over 2 million tons now sit in storage, and farmers are selling at a loss, up to 50 cents below break-even. One Kansas flour mill even canceled a $48 million expansion, unsure if it'll even get the wheat it needs. And the crisis isn't stopping there. The USDA now warns that export demand is collapsing across all major categories: corn, beef, chicken, even pork. In total, nearly 1,000 meat processing plants have lost their China export licenses, or are in limbo. That puts over $5 billion in food exports at risk. Ranchers are terrified, farmers are desperate, and small-town banks? They're tightening loans, asking for 15% more collateral, because the farm economy is shrinking. The worst part? This is hitting just as planting season begins. Farmers don't know what to sow. Sorghum's dead, soybeans are dying, wheat's bleeding. Every decision is a gamble. Do they switch crops, cut back production, or bet it all and hope Trump reverses course? Because right now, America First is turning into America Alone. While the US scrambles, Brazil and Russia are taking the lead, scooping up global market share like never before. Russia now leads in global wheat exports. Brazil is outpacing US soybeans. Australia's dominating Asian wheat deals. Even US allies, like Canada and Mexico, are reconsidering their trade strategy. And remember, farm exports aren't just a rural issue. They drive billions in revenue. They support millions of jobs, and they keep food prices in check. But that balance is tipping. Already, prices are rising. In Southeast Asia, the price of bread has jumped 11% in 3 weeks because US wheat is now too risky to import. In the US, food processors are warning. Canned goods, frozen meals, meat, all set to spike. Beer? Under pressure too. Tariffs on aluminum cans and steel kegs are hitting craft brewers hard. Packaging costs are climbing. Shelf prices are next. So what happens if this continues? If the 94% collapse in sorghum repeats across soybeans and wheat, the consequences will be historic. Farm bankruptcies, job losses, food inflation, trade realignments that last for decades. Farmers, the backbone of rural America, could see everything they've built wiped out in a single season. And all of it because of tariffs. Look, protecting American industry is important. No one's arguing that. But these policies are triggering global retaliation, and US agriculture is paying the price. Grain doesn't care about politics, it just needs a buyer. And if that buyer walks away, the harvest dies in storage. The 2025 farm crisis is real, and it's only just beginning. So, what now? Unless trade talks reboot fast and tariffs are scaled back, the collapse could deepen. And the question isn't whether more crops will fall, it's which one is next. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Drop a comment and tell us, should America change course or double down? This is Trump Wire, and we'll be watching, because the fallout is far from over.